Hello students, in this question it is given that there are two identical particles of mass small m that are fixed at the end of this light rigid rod, right. So, this rod is massless and there are two strings, right. So, these two strings are suspended from this point here and the length of these two strings are same as that of this rod, that is equal to L, right. So, this system is initially kept in a position such that this string is horizontal, and after we release this system from the situation shown here, the tension will be developing in these two strings and that will be changing as this system goes down, right. So, you have to determine the maximum value of tension in these cords, right. So, for that what we need to do is, what we want to actually accomplish is that we want to determine the value of tension forces in these two strings as a function of angle rotated by this system, right. So, if we determine the general value of tension T or T1, T2 after the system has rotated by angle theta, we can just use the principles of maxima minima in whichever suitable method that will be applicable for that. And so, how should we proceed to solve this question? First, we want to determine the value of angular velocity at the instant when this system has rotated by angle theta, right. Why do we want to determine the value of angular velocity? Because we would write the equation of motion for these two particles, right, Newton's laws of motion for these two particles, and along the direction of center, along towards the center, the net force will be equal to centripetal force. So, for that we want to determine the value of angular velocity omega, right. So, for that part we can proceed from here and use the conservation of mechanical energy, and for that, instead of writing down the total change in potential energy using these two individual particles, I have just used the center of mass of this system will be lying at this midpoint here, because the rod is massless and these two particles are of same mass. The center of mass will be at this midpoint here, and the total vertically downward displacement in the center of mass will be responsible for decrease in the potential energy, and that same decrease will be equal to change in or increase in kinetic energy, right. So, this is the equation here, and the total decrease in potential energy will be total mass of the system 2mg in 2m into g into total whatever is the vertically downward displacement of the center of mass. So, initially the center of mass was at this position here at this midpoint, and this angle would be 30 degree because this is going to be at the angle bisector position, right. So, this distance here will be equal to L, this is distance L. So, this distance will be L cos 30, that is L root 3 by 2, and the vertical height will be equal to L cos 30 into sin 30, right. And this was the initial position, and the final will be equal to, for the final value, this length is equal to again root 3 L by 2, and this height will be equal to L root 3 by 2 into sin 30 plus theta, right. So, total decrease in potential energy will be this whole term here, right, and total increase in kinetic energy will be equal to half into I into omega square. Again, we have to determine the moment of inertia about this axis, right, about this axis, and since these two point masses are there only and this rod is massless, the moment of inertia will be because of this point mass m into L square, that is the perpendicular distance. So, for the two masses, this will be the total moment of inertia. From this equation, if we solve, the value of omega square will come out to be equal to this much, right. So, this is our first equation. Now, if we want to write determine the value of tensions, we have to write down the equation of motion or the second law of motion for these two individual particles. And if we write these equation for these two individual particles, we can get in two directions. We can write this equation one along the direction towards the center, and in that case the net force applied by all the forces, whatever the forces are acting on these individual particles, the component of that net force along the center will be equal to centripetal force. So one equation will be centripetal force equation and one will be along the tangent direction. But in this situation, if we try to write the equation for these two particles separately, we will also get one force which we do not want to get into. That force will be the force applied by this rod. And of course, we are not concerned with the force applied by this rod. So instead of writing this equation for these two individual particles separately, what we have done is we will write these these two equations for the center of mass, for the system, right? So the center of mass is at this position here, and if we want to write the equation, one will be toward the center, that is equal to net force along the centripetal direction, and the benefit of using the center of mass here will be that the reaction force from this rod will be eliminated, because for this system the reaction force from the rod will become an internal force. So that will not appear in the free body diagram of this whole system, right? Only these two tension forces T1, T2 and the gravitational force, that is 2 mg, will appear. And in this case, one equation towards the centripetal direction, towards the center direction, will use the term omega square. So that is what we have derived, right? So the value of omega square is known, but along the direction of tangent, we will be writing as net force along this tangent direction will be equal to mass into tangential acceleration, right? And tangential acceleration will be equal to radius of this center of mass multiplied by angular acceleration alpha. So we also need to determine the value of alpha, right? So one way to determine value of alpha as a function of theta would be just to differentiate this whole term, right? So here it is omega square equal to this much, and if we just differentiate this term with respect to time, we will get this equation, right? Here the d theta by dt will be omega, so it will be cancelled out and we will get the value of alpha, and if we just multiply it by L, we are getting this second equation as L alpha equal to this much, right? So now coming to this part where we are going to write down the equation of motion, right? So, or Newton's laws of motion for the center of mass. So let's draw the free body diagram here. So in this situation, let's say the tension is T1 along in this string and T2 in this string, and if we want to draw the free body diagram, here it is the center of mass. So this is the net vertical force, that is equal to weight 2 mg, and the tension force T1 here will be making angle 30 degree with this line here, and this is the line that is going towards the center, right? So this is the center line, this is, let's say, point O, so this is point O right here, and the tension T1 and T2 will be making angle 30 degree, right? So let's just take the component of all these forces along two directions which we are interested in. The directions are this direction, that is towards the center, and this direction, that is perpendicular to the direction, that means this is the tangential direction, right? So this is the tangential direction. So if we take the component of these two, we will get this figure here, right? And the radius of this circular path of the center of mass will be equal to root 3 L by 2, and the tension forces, the component of tension forces, component of mg, that is all shown in this figure. You can figure it out very easily, right? So along this direction, that is towards the center, so the net force towards the center will provide centripetal force, that is m, the mass of the system, that is equal to basically 2m. So 2m into radius into omega square, m r omega square, this is the term here. If we just simplify this equation, we'll get this equation, that is my fourth equation, right? Again, along the tangential direction, this will be equation net force equal to mass into acceleration, that is r times alpha. And if we just substitute the value of alpha from the previous equation that we had derived from this equation here, we will get this fifth equation, right? So now if we just use this fourth and fifth equation, we can determine the value of T1 and T2, and actually we do not need to solve for both of the equations. I'll tell you why. So let's say the value of tension is tension T1 is this much, right? So this is the value of tension that we are getting, and why I do not need to bother about the value of tension T2, because the tensions will be changing the same value. If you see that the motion has started from this position, right? So this is the starting position here, and finally eventually this string, let me call this as string 1 and this is string 2. Finally this string 2 will become horizontal on the other side and the string 1 will become like this, right? So final situation be something like that, that will be mirror image to this vertical line, right? So tension T1 and T2 will be replaced by T2 and T1 along the right direction of this vertical line. So whatever will be the maximum value of tension in this string will be actually the maximum value of tension in the other string also. So we just need to determine the maximum value of tension in form of maximum value of T1, right? So if we just see this equation, here this part is constant, this part is constant, and this part is only changing, right? So this is the only changing part here. And if you see here, this is nothing but in form of A cos theta plus B sin theta, where theta is some variable angle. Instead of theta, we are having 30 plus theta, right? So you know that maximum value of this function is nothing but equal to root of A square plus B square. So of course, the value of T1 max will be equal to this much, and upon simplifying, this T1 max will be the tension max in both the strings. So the answer is this much.